The movie begins with an American teenager named Dre Parker who currently lives with his widowed mother, Serie. In order to find a better life, they decide to move from Detroit to China. Despite not knowing the country's language and culture at all, Dre tries to learn Mandarin on the plane, but it seems like he is struggling. Serie is surprised when she learns that China is not that old as pictured in the magazine. Upon arrival at the apartment, Dre seems hopeless when he finds out that SpongeBob is also dubbed in Chinese and he doesn't understand the language at all. Serie immediately goes to the bathroom and takes a bath. But however, the hot water is broken. Dre is ordered by his mom to find the maintenance man, Mr. Han. He tries to speak English to the local people, but no one seems to understand what he is saying. Long story short, he finds Mr. Han and asks him to go to his room to fix the water, but he ignores him while attempting to capture a fly with his chopsticks, but later hits it with a fly swatter. Afterward, he explores the place and finally meets a teenager who also speaks English, named Harry, and befriends him. After badly losing to an old man in table tennis, Dre spots a young violinist, Mei Ying, tries to talk to her. It seems that the girl also likes Dre, especially with his unique hair. However, they are later confronted by Ching, who is unhappy when he sees Dre is flirting with Mei Ying. The American boy tries to intervene and challenges Ching, but gets beaten up badly by him as the Chinese boy is way too strong for him. The next day, Dre attempts to cover his bruises with his mom's makeup. He attends the local school where he finds out that he is in the same school with Mei Ying, Chung, and his gang. At the cafeteria, Ching shows up and deliberately slams Dre's food tray. He can't do anything as the teacher comes and separates them. At the same time, Mei Ying seems worried about Dre. That afternoon, Han finally comes to the apartment where he spots Dre is practicing kung fu from the television. Han calls Dre to teach him how to operate the hot water, but gets ignored. Thus, he tosses a toothpaste cap towards Dre which accurately hits him and makes him surprised. Not long after, Serie returns home and is very annoyed with his son's undisciplined behavior while Han eavesdrops on their conversation. Back at school, Dre comes across a room where he finds Mei Ying practicing violin for the upcoming audition. She claims that joining the academy is very important for her and her family, thus she has to give her best. He leaves the room and suddenly is confronted by Ching and his gang, who warn him to keep distance from Mei Ying while bullying him. After school, Dre and his mom pay a visit to Forbidden City and they come across an enormous group of teenagers practicing kung fu. He explores the place, but accidentally arrives at a room where he learns that Ching is actually a kung fu expert. He gets upset and immediately asks his mom to leave. Serie becomes worried, asking Dre about what actually happened. He reveals that he hates the country and blames his mom's decision for moving to China. The following day, just after a school trip to the Forbidden City, Dre feels like this is the perfect time for revenge. He quietly follows Ching and his gang, takes a bucket of dirty water, and throws it over the boys. This action makes the boys furious, who immediately chase him around the city. After a long and exhausting pursuit, Dre eventually arrives at Backstreet Alley and hits a dead end. He tries to escape, but Ching manages to pull him to the ground. The enraged boys then corner him and start punching him ruthlessly. When Ching is about to launch his final blow, suddenly, Han shows up and grabs his wrist. The maintenance man tells them to go home, but the cocky Ching tries to kick him instead, which is blocked by Han. Turns out that Han is a kung fu master. He manages to dodge the boys' strikes smoothly and knock them out without even launching a single offensive move on them, causing them to beat each other up. Ching and the gang eventually give up and flee from the place. Han brings Dre home and treats his wounds with an ancient Chinese healing method, fire cupping. Dre begs Han to teach him kung fu for self-defense, but it seems like Han isn't interested in teaching anybody at the moment. However, he later accompanies Dre to visit the Fighting Dragon Academy to make peace with Ching and his teacher, Lee. Lee is a ruthless and cruel teacher who always teaches his students to show no mercy towards their opponent. He refuses the peace offer and challenges either Dre or Han fights against Ching, but they walk away as they have no intention to make the situation worse. Han sees a kung fu competition poster and challenges him to prove who is the best there, which is then accepted by Master Lee. Since he doesn't understand Mandarin at all, Dre is shocked when informed by Han that he has to fight all of them at the tournament. Han reveals that what Master Lee taught was not kung fu since he only taught cruelty to his students. Thus he promises Dre that he will teach him the real kung fu. Dre is very excited and immediately heads over to Han's place. Upon arrival, he comes across a broken car inside the house. He meets Han and the training begins. However, Dre is upset when he learns that that training set is not what he expected. He is told to pick up his jacket, hang it up, and then take it down repeatedly. Dre doesn't realize that the day 1 training set has taught him how to be more disciplined. Day by day has passed, but the take it down hang it up training set still continues. He keeps practicing. Even the weather can't stop him. Suddenly, Serie pays a visit and invites Dre and Han to go with her to the Serie festival. Upon arrival at the festival, Dre comes across a building where he meets Meiying, who later asks him to watch a show with her. There, he invites Meiying to come to the upcoming Kung Fu tournament to support him, and he will also go to her audition. Meanwhile, Han reveals to Serie that Xiao Dre, the nickname that he gave to her son, is his very first Kung Fu student. At some point, Dre is fed up with the same boring training set and rudely states that he wants to quit. He also blames Han, saying that he doesn't understand Kung Fu at all. Disappointed with the statement, Han stands up and shows Dre the real purpose of that repetitive training set, which is to develop muscle memory. At the same time, Dre is also surprised when he somehow manages to dodge upcoming attacks from Han. The teacher then says that Kung Fu lives in every aspect of life, including putting on and taking off the jacket. Since then, Dre has put a lot of respect towards Han. The next day, Han takes Dre to a temple in Wudong Mountain, the place where Han used to learn Kung Fu. There, Dre witnesses exceptional Kung Fu abilities and techniques. He is fascinated when he sees a woman who is able to control a snake, who copies her head movement. At the end of the journey, they arrive at Dragon Well where Han orders Dre to taste the water. After that, Han escalates the training to the next level, this time focusing on Dre's concentration, body fitness, and flexibility. After numerous sets of exhausting training, it is seen that Dre has developed a better body form and the teacher gives him a day off. In his spare time, Dre takes Meiying with him to explore the city. They have a lot of fun and Meiying also shows off her dancing skill to the boy, who is amazed with her ability. Suddenly, Meiying receives a call, informing her that the audition is rescheduled to today. She is then picked up with her father and is nearly late for the audition. Dre silently follows them to the auditorium and witnesses the girl's performance. However, Meiying's parents don't really like Dre and forbid their daughter from seeing him again. The heartbroken Dre then comes to Han's house, finding his teacher is in a drunk state and destroying the broken car. Turns out that day is the day when he lost his wife and son in a car accident after the pair had an argument. Since then, Han claims that he still cannot forgive himself. To help his teacher overcome his past trauma, Dre pulls him out of the car and asks him to continue the training. Dre becomes motivated to train harder, so that he can win the competition and impress his teacher. After passing several weeks of drilling, Han concludes that Dre is ready for the competition and brings him to the competition venue. He also presents him a Bruce Lee's fighting suit to increase his morale. Later that night, Dre bravely pays a visit to Meiying's house where he apologizes to her father in Mandarin. The father appreciates the effort and accepts the apology. He also promises that Meiying will come to the tournament to support him. Finally, the D-Day of the tournament has come. The venue is full of spectators and it seems like the fighters participating in the tournament are very strong. Dre attends his very first official battle. However, he doesn't understand the rule and walks out of the circle mat, causing him to lose a point. In the next round, he finally gains his confidence and eventually manages to eliminate his first opponent. Meanwhile, the boys from Fighting Dragon Academy also proceed to the next phase of the tournament. Ching defeats the blue-suited boy easily and becomes the first finalist to reach the grand final. On the other side, Dre is able to win the next matches until he reaches the semi-final and faces one of the strong boys from the academy, Liang. Before the match, Master Li orders him to break his leg. He reluctantly obeys the order, even though it means that he will be disqualified from the semi-final. As planned, Liang plays dirty in the fight and deliberately strikes his punches on Dre's leg repeatedly. The American boy is badly hurt and the doctor states that it is impossible for Dre to continue fighting, despite advancing to the grand final. Meanwhile, Ching is ready to claim the trophy if Dre is unable to return in several minutes. Dre begs. Han treats him with the fire cupping method as he believes that he has a big chance to win the tournament. He initially refuses because he doesn't want to watch Dre getting hurt again, but Dre somehow manages to convince him. A few moments later, Dre returns to the ring and the grand final begins. Dre loses the first round after being kicked out from the arena by Ching. Fortunately, he comes back and regains his position into a 2-1 lead. As expected, Ching plays dirty and purposely aims Dre's weak leg. He launches a powerful jump kick towards the injured leg, causing Dre to scream in agony, and Ching claims a point for winning the round. In the deciding round, Dre insists to keep fighting, despite standing with one leg. He remembers the woman who controlled the snake on the mountain and copies her technique. Ching underestimates him and charges towards him, allowing Dre to strike an overhead kick to his face. Ching is unable to get up and Dre officially becomes the champion of the tournament. With respect, Ching hands over the trophy to Dre while the other fighting dragon students bow down to Han.